Have you ever wondered if something as small as your morning routine could quietly be sabotaging the most important muscle in your body, your heart? Not through obvious pain, but through silent wear and tear day after day. Let me tell you a story. Richard was 67 years old, retired, fairly active, and like many of us set in his daily rituals. He'd wake up, skip breakfast, pour a hot black coffee, scroll the news on his phone, and head straight to the backyard to water his plants. No stretching, no hydration, just coffee on an empty stomach and straight into the day. He felt fine until one morning he didn't. What started as a little chest pressure quickly spiraled into shortness of breath, dizziness, and a call to 911. The doctors said it wasn't a full-blown heart attack, but his heart had been under chronic stress, years of small invisible damage adding up. The shocking part, it wasn't genetics, it wasn't bad luck, it was preventable. His daily habits, the same ones millions of people follow without a second thought, had slowly pushed his heart toward a breaking point. You see, heart disease doesn't just arrive one day, it builds quietly like rust behind a wall. And unless we recognize the triggers hiding in our routine, we might never see it coming. In this video, I'll reveal the 7 most dangerous everyday habits that are silently weakening your heart, and more importantly, how to fix them. Because if Richard had known even one of these, his heart might have told a different story. Every morning, millions of people wake up and immediately launch into the chaos of the day, checking their phones, gulping down coffee, rushing to appointments without giving their body even a moment to fully wake up. It's understandable. We live in a world that rewards urgency, but what if I told you that skipping just 2 minutes of gentle stretching in the morning could be silently setting your heart up for failure? You see, your cardiovascular system is not a machine that flips on like a light switch. It's more like an orchestra-sensitive complex and in need of warm-up. When you jump out of bed and move without easing into it, your arteries remain constricted, your blood vessels tense, and your heart is forced to work harder, just to push blood through narrow passageways. Over time, this stiffness creates a constant state of resistance, elevating your blood pressure and placing microscopic stress on the delicate tissues of your heart. Imagine running a marathon each morning with a tight belt strapped across your chest. That's what your heart experiences when your vessels don't expand naturally. But the fix, it's almost too simple. A minute of chest openers to allow more oxygen flow. A few shoulder rolls to release tension from your upper back, where stress and poor posture constrict circulation. Light hamstring stretches to improve alignment and reduce vascular compression in your lower body. This isn't yoga or athletic training, it's cardiovascular self-care. And the beauty is, it costs nothing. You can set a 2-minute timer, breathe deeply, and signal to your heart you're safe. We're starting slow today. Over weeks and months, those 2 minutes add up to lower resting blood pressure, more resilient arteries, and a heart that isn't pushed into overdrive before breakfast. For Richard, those 2 minutes could have meant years. For many people, the day doesn't truly begin until that first sip of coffee touches their lips. It's comforting, energizing, and for some non-negotiable. But what most don't realize is that drinking coffee on an empty stomach, especially as the very first act of your morning, is not just a harmless habit, it's a cardiovascular stress test you're failing daily. Here's why. Cortisol, your body's natural wake-up hormone, is already peaking in the early hours. When you drink black coffee without food, it compounds that cortisol surge, sending your body into a state of artificial alert. Your adrenal glands release adrenaline, your heart rate spikes, your blood vessels constrict, and your blood pressure rises, sometimes sharply. Without food to buffer the absorption, caffeine hits your system like a tidal wave. And for your heart, that means overstimulation, irregular rhythms, and inflammation quietly brewing beneath the surface. Over weeks, this pattern contributes to arterial stiffness and hypertension, even in people with no history of heart disease. What's worse, many don't connect their racing heart, morning headaches, or midday crashes to this one daily ritual. But the solution is simple, and it doesn't mean giving up your coffee. Just don't let it arrive alone. Pair your morning brew with a small protein-rich snack. Something as modest as a hard-boiled egg, a spoonful of Greek yogurt, or a slice of whole-grain toast with almond butter. If you're plant-based, a rice cake with peanut butter or chia pudding works beautifully. Protein and healthy fat help slow caffeine absorption, flattening the cortisol curve and giving your heart a smoother start. It's not about giving up comfort. It's about giving your heart a fighting chance to face the day without an unnecessary chemical storm. Because the difference between a calm morning and one that secretly wounds your heart could be just one bite. Your heart is a relentless worker beating over 100,000 times a day without rest. But what many people overlook is that this powerhouse is made up of nearly 73% water. It doesn't just crave hydration, it depends on it. Yet day after day, millions go through their routines barely sipping a few ounces of water, mistaking thirst for hunger, or pushing hydration aside in favor of coffee, soda, or nothing at all. The impact is invisible at first, but insidious. Even mild dehydration, just 1 to 2% loss of body water, reduces blood volume. And with less blood to circulate, your heart must pump harder, faster, and longer to deliver the same amount of oxygen. Over time, this effort wears down the cardiac muscle and raises your resting heart rate. Your blood becomes thicker, stickier, slowing circulation, and silently increasing your risk for clot, stroke, or sudden heart events. And still, most people shrug it off, not realizing that chronic low-level dehydration can be just as damaging to the heart as a bad diet. But the fix is refreshingly simple. Keep a reusable water bottle with you and commit to refilling it at least 3 times a day. Set phone reminders if needed. Take 3 deep sips at the top of each hour. Add lemon, cucumber, or mint if plain water feels boring. If you sweat easily, exercise, or take medications that affect fluid levels, consider an electrolyte tablet without added sugar. Hydration isn't just about thirst, it's about maintaining the fluid your heart needs to function smoothly. Over time, you'll notice the difference clearer. Thoughts steadier, energy, fewer headaches, and most importantly, a heart that isn't straining silently behind the scenes. Because sometimes the most powerful way to support your heart isn't a pill or a program, it's just a glass of water consistently given with care. It's a quiet evening. The house is still. The TV glows softly in the background. You've brushed your teeth, maybe even changed into pajamas, but there it is, the craving. Chips, cookies, a leftover sandwich, or maybe just a spoonful of peanut butter. Harmless, right? You've earned it after a long day, but while your taste buds are satisfied, your heart begins to suffer, and you'd never know it. Late-night snacking, especially within 2 hours of bedtime, triggers a cascade of internal disruptions. As your digestive system ramps up to break down, food blood is redirected away from the heart and brain, flooding the stomach and intestines instead. This diversion forces your heart to work harder at a time when it should be recovering. And because your body remains metabolically active, your core temperature stays elevated and your blood pressure remains higher overnight. This compromises deep sleep, the stage when your heart slows down, repairs damage, and recalibrates rhythm. Without it, the wear and tear from the day doesn't heal. Inflammation lingers. Arteries stiffen. Cortisol spikes first thing in the morning, and your heart never truly rests. Over weeks and months, this cycle contributes to chronic fatigue, rising blood pressure, and even structural damage to the heart muscle. And yet the solution doesn't require deprivation, it just takes timing. Make your kitchen a no-eating zone at least 2 hours before bed. If true hunger hits, reach for something gentle, a small piece of fruit, a few baby carrots, or herbal tea. Better yet, create a calming bedtime ritual, light, stretching, a short meditation, or reading something that soothes the mind. Your heart doesn't need more fuel at night, it needs permission to rest. And by breaking this habit, you're not giving something up. You're giving your heart the gift of quiet, uninterrupted recovery. The kind of rest that adds not just years to your life, but life to your years. In today's world, it's entirely possible to go hours, sometimes an entire day, without standing up for more than a few minutes. We sit at the breakfast table, then in the car, at a desk, on the couch, in front of a screen, and finally in bed. But what seems like modern convenience is in reality a silent trap for your heart. Extended sitting slows circulation and weakens the calf muscles that act as natural pumps to move blood back toward the heart. When you stay still for too long, blood pools in the lower body, reducing cardiac output and forcing your heart to work harder just to maintain basic circulation. Over time, this constant strain leads to elevated blood pressure, decreased vascular flexibility, and a higher risk of clot formation. What's worse, even regular workouts can't fully undo the damage if the rest of your day is sedentary. You can't out-exercise a lifestyle built on stillness. And yet so many people associate heart disease only with poor diet or genetics, never realizing their own chair may be the problem. But this is not about guilt. It's about small, sustainable change. The answer lies in micro movements. Every 30 minutes, stand up and stretch. Walk to the kitchen, march in place. Do a few calf raises or seated leg extensions. Set a timer if you need to. Consider a standing desk or even just place your laptop on a box for part of the day. These short bursts of movement activate circulation, support metabolism, and take the pressure off your heart in powerful ways. You don't need to run marathons. You just need to interrupt the stillness. Because in the quiet hours when nothing seems to be happening, your heart is working harder than ever. The least we can do is rise up, breathe deeply, and give it the movement it so desperately deserves. Stress doesn't always show up as panic or breakdowns. Sometimes it hides behind clenched jaws, sleepless nights, tight shoulders, or that constant buzzing in your mind telling you there's always something else to do. And while you may think you're handling it, powering through your work, keeping up with responsibilities, the truth is your heart might be paying the price. Every time you face pressure, be it traffic, financial worry, family tension, or internalized guilt, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals were designed to help us escape danger thousands of years ago, not to endure the nonstop micro-stress of modern life. And when these hormones flood your system repeatedly, your heart enters a state of constant alert. Blood vessels constrict, blood pressure rises, inflammation takes root, and the very walls of your arteries begin to wear thin. Over time, unmanaged stress doesn't just make you tired, it literally reshapes your cardiovascular system, setting the stage for hypertension, arrhythmia, and even heart attacks. But here's the shift. Stress will always exist, but how you respond to it can either protect your heart or push it closer to the edge. Begin small. Take 5 minutes each morning or evening to breathe deeply in through the nose for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 6. This simple practice activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the body's built-in reset button, lowering your heart rate and soothing inflamed vessels. Add a nature walk, a quiet journaling session, calming music or prayer if that brings you peace. This isn't fluff, it's frontline therapy for your heart. Because your heart doesn't just beat to keep you alive, it reflects the rhythm of how you live. And if you want it to beat strong for years to come, give it more than silence. Give it moments of calm. Of all the things we do for our heart, eating, right, exercising, taking medications, perhaps the most powerful and most overlooked is what we do when we do nothing at all: sleep. In a culture that idolizes hustle and late-night productivity, sleep is often treated as optional, something we can catch up on later. But for your heart, sleep is sacred. It is during deep restorative sleep that your heart finally gets a break. Your blood pressure drops, your heart rate slows, inflammation is cleared, damage is repaired, and vital hormones are regulated. Without this reset, the heart is left to run nonstop like an engine that's never allowed to cool. And just like that engine, over time, it begins to wear out, quietly, relentlessly. Studies show that people who consistently sleep less than 6 hours per night face up to double the risk of heart attacks and strokes, regardless of diet or exercise. Fragmented sleep is just as dangerous. And yet so many of us lie in bed each night, surrounded by blue light, our minds racing, our bodies wired from late-night snacks and screen time. The fix doesn't begin with a pill. It begins with honoring sleep as medicine. Create a cool, dark, quiet sleep environment. Shut off screens an hour before bed. Establish a bedtime routine. A warm shower light, stretching, magnesium if needed, a calming book or prayer. Go to bed and wake up at the same time, even on weekends. Don't just hope for good sleep, train for it. Because a well-rested heart is a strong heart. And the difference between waking up tired or waking up renewed isn't just about energy, it's about survival. Night after night, your heart begs for rest. The question is, will you give it what it needs before it's too late? Now you know the 7 daily habits that quietly, invisibly, and powerfully strain your heart every single day. Not with drama or warning signs, but with quiet repetition that wears down your strongest muscle before you even feel a symptom. But here's the truth that changes everything. Heart disease isn't always about sudden collapse or inherited fate. It's about patterns, your patterns. And that means you have the power to rewrite the story. Every skip stretch, every cup of coffee on an empty stomach, Every dry day without water, every late-night snack, every hour you sit without moving, every unresolved worry, and every night you neglect your sleep, they all add up. But so do the reversals. 2 minutes of stretching, 1 boiled egg before coffee, a glass of water by your side, standing up every 30 minutes, 5 deep breaths when stress swells, a sacred hour of sleep prep each night. These aren't massive lifestyle overhauls, they're small, deliberate acts of self-respect. They tell your heart, I hear you, I'm here for you. You matter. And that message repeated daily can transform not just your health, but your future. So take this knowledge and turn it into action. Start tonight. Choose just one thing. Stretch before you sleep. Replace your snack with herbal tea. Put your phone away an hour earlier. Your heart doesn't need perfection, it needs consistency. And if you need extra support, we've listed doctor-recommended supplements below, from CoQ10 to omega-3 to magnesium, all tools to support your body's most loyal organ. Click those links, but more importantly, click into your own life with presence. If this video helped you, like, subscribe, and share it with someone you love. Because heart health isn't just personal, it's generational. And the years ahead, they're yours to protect, one choice at a time.